the boss. Pretty, aren't they? Asked the woman in the craft shop. I looked at her confused, then down at the red pipe cleaners on the counter. I nodded. I suppose they are, I said. Going to be doing some craft then, she asked. No, they're for my cat. The woman smiled. Oh, that's nice. I'm sure your cat'll love them. Back home, I tipped the pipe cleaners onto the table. They were red and skinny and the wires were excitingly bendy. I remembered hours of playing with this kind of thing when I was little. Then Tigger arrived. Afternoon, he said. Did you get them? I pointed to the pile on the table. Good girl, he said. They looked perfect. He started to use his paw to bat the pipe cleaners onto the floor. When he'd finished and was about to jump down, I cleared my throat. What? He said. Just one thing. Yes? Can you not smoke your pipe indoors? He looked at me and then gave a little feline shrug. I'll think about it, he said, and was gone.
That was after the war, of course. Before the war, I didn't even live here. I was born over there and we came over. Those of us who could come, that is. Then after the war, I had a shop of my own. I used to do all the labels and signs myself, and I would look after you if you were a customer. My customers liked me. I think, and this always made me laugh, that boys used to sneak in and move my chair. Whenever I'd finished serving people, especially if it was busy, I would go to sit down and someone would have moved it. In the shop, that was, on Oak Street. Do you know Oak Street? It was like the shop my father had, but of course they took that away. He used to run it with my mother. She was taken from us to the camps. Do you know the camps? And now I guess I'm here. They call me young man and they keep moving my chair. I don't mind. I think it's funny. I imagine that boys are sneaking in here and doing it. They always used to do it when I ran the shop on Oak Street. My father always said I could run his shop after him, but they took it away and they took my mother away too. They took my wife away, you know. They took her and my mother away. They were both in the shop, not the one on Oak Street. They took them away while my father and I were out buying supplies and we didn't see them again. That's when we came over here, and that's when I got the shop in Oak Street. Do you know Oak Street? When I worked on Oak Street, someone kept moving my chair, and they do that here too. I think it's boys, or it could be my wife. I think maybe it was her that used to move my chair. She used to make the signs and labels for the shop. Do you know my wife? She's around here somewhere.
It's such a pretty filing cabinet, I don't want to use it. I know it's made to be used, but I can't bear to sully it. The papers I should be putting into it are piled on the floor instead. I threw my old cabinet away the moment I ordered this new one. Some of the piles of paper have tottered and fallen, but somehow their disarray just enhances the glory of the new cabinet. It's red, not pillar box red, no. It's the red of the blood in A Nightmare, it's the red of poison berries in the forest, it's the red of passion so deep that you would rather die or kill than lose it. I should be organising my life in its drawers, but I don't feel that I have the right. To try and put myself into it would be like trying to put myself into the heart of God. And so I sit and stare at it and watch the way the light burns in its depths, the way the flames from the papers and the files enhance it, the way the ashes of my life pay tribute to its desire.
I saw it on the way back from your funeral, my love. I know I should have been thinking about you, but I've been thinking of nothing else for so long, through the months of decline, that my brain needed the break. Will you forgive me? It was sitting in the window and looking at me. For a moment, as the car passed, I imagined holding it up to my lips and blowing one of those glorious bass notes. I also didn't mean to walk past it 2 days later, when I went to collect your ashes. I stopped to look at it for a while, and again on the way back with you in my arms. I found myself there again a few days later, and a few days after that. And so this morning I returned and I bought it. I know you would have never let me have it, and that feels like a betrayal. But I know once I've polished and cleaned it, when I bring it to my lips and blow, I will hear your voice shouting, "Henry William Henderson, what is that appalling noise?" And finally, I'll be able to cry.
Ted couldn't find them anywhere. He would ask Beth if she'd seen them, but he knew he'd get an earful, so he searched by himself and tried not to make it obvious. He scrubbed the surfaces in the bedroom, doing his best not to make too much noise. He peered down behind the chest of drawers, but he didn't see them. As he looked behind the dressing table, he knocked Beth's jewellery box onto the floor, landed with a bang. "You all right, love?" Beth called from the kitchen. "Fine, just knocked something over." he shouted back, gathering the smoke in their castle basements. Well, come down, your tea's ready. Okay, 1 minute. He had one last look, but it was no good, they were lost. He trudged downstairs preparing to face the music, but as he neared the kitchen he noticed the dog lying in the doorway, grinning at him, grinning a particular toothy grin. He bent down, slid his hand into the dog's mouth and pulled his dentures free. Okay, Beth, as he stepped over the dog. Ted took a deep breath, lifted his stubborn wet false teeth to his mouth and popped them in, then smiled back and said, I sure am, no, that's what he...
You're out of work, you've got no money coming in, all you do all day is sit around watching Jeremy Springer or whatever, said my mum. It's the least you can do to help me and your father and I'll give you £10. So I was house sitting and waiting in the carpet man. What time's he coming, I asked her. We don't know, we just got a letter saying he'd be here on the 16th and we'd already booked the cruise, so we'll have to do it for us. I didn't think anything more. The promise of a tenner was enough, and I could use their heating, their electricity and their food. To be honest, I'd have done it without the money. I waited all day and night, was starting to fall. The bell finally went. I lifted myself from the sofa and stumbled to the door. I opened it and on the doorstep was a gigantic man-shaped figure. His skin was tuft and twirled. He was the carpet man. He laid down towards me and handed a like steel wrapped in wool blend pile, grabbed me around the neck. A laugh opened from a tear in the pattern and a voice skirted,